Welcome back to the MIDLIFE MUSCLE Podcast. I'm Joey Atlas, your host, and today's great guest is Rachel Forest. Rachel, thank you for being here.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So is this your first podcast ever?
Yes.
Yeah? All
I'm
right.
honored.
So I'm finding that with a lot of people. This is their first one, and everybody's cool with just jumping on video. It's been awesome, really. So I thank you again for being here.
Of course.
Now, you've noticed, like, toward the end, everybody nominates somebody, and that's what I gave you as your assignment, have somebody to nominate, but nobody nominated you, right? But I call it God nominating somebody through me. And so this is the first time I'm explaining this. And whether you're a believer or not, doesn't matter. Like, God plays a heavy role in my life, especially over the last, 10 years. That's an episode for another day, though. The best way for me to describe this is, like, God will put a spotlight on certain people in my life, and, like, over here it's the gym, like, let's call it that area, and it's like there's not a light on you. It's almost like there's a light, but it's invisible. But God's having me pay attention. Make sense?
Yeah, no, I know.
So you're one of those people, and you and I cross paths, head nod, typical gym thing. But there's certain people it happens with more often. Like, there's a vibe, there's a reciprocal positive energy.
Yeah.
You're one of those people. And
I'm honored to be chosen by the one.
No, please. It's an honor to have you here. So I appreciated your openness and connecting, and just really being all into getting on here and participating. Getting a lot of great feedback.
I'm all for the good vibes too. So
love it. All right, cool. I could tell. I sensed it. Like, it didn't take long for me to see that.
Cool.
So, all right, here's what we're going to do. Just like I do with everybody, I want you to give us a brief, quick self-intro of who Rachel is, like a snapshot photo of who this lady is right now.
I'm a nurse. I work, I'm a trauma neuro ICU nurse. Work at UFL, so Level 1 Trauma Center.
And UFL, for people who don't know, is?
Chance. Downtown. The worst traumas go there. That's pretty much what it is. So it gets a little crazy.
Right.
I love it. Keeps me busy. Keeps me... I have to be very organized and... Structured, exactly. So I have to go. So I'm able to do everything that I want to do in my life. Work out. Right. Be healthy. Do the things that make me happy. Yep.
And we're going to get into more of those. And what's your age?
Awesome. I'm 30.
30. All right. So that was one of the things we touched on in our quick early conversation. And I didn't want to go too deep, as I told you. I tell others, I want to talk to you more, but I don't want to, like, ruin it for this conversation.
Understandable.
So let's go back to your childhood. Where were you born? Where were you raised?
I was born technically in Fort Myers, wasn't even there like a year and a half, and then went to Miami. I've been everywhere. Grew up in Miami until I was 14, went back to Fort Myers for high school, and went to Florida State. Go Noles. And then I ended up in Jacksonville.
Okay. So moved around Fort Myers, Miami, back to Fort Myers. Is that with family, mom, dad?
Yeah, dad was in Fort Myers, mom was in Miami.
Okay.
And then went far away to Tallahassee.
Yeah, okay. So school in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Florida State. Now, what specifically brought you to Jax?
Honestly, I had a lot of friends in Tallahassee that afterwards they were from Jacksonville and they came back here. And I did not want to go back to Miami.
Right, understood.
I feel like once anyone leaves Miami, they don't go back.
Right.
Once they experience the rest of the world, they're like, wow, that's why I was so stressed.
Yep.
People complain here about driving anywhere that's 20 minutes. And I'm like, you don't know. No. God bless you, And Fort Myers was just too boring for me.
Right.
It was just snowbirds.
Yeah.
So I thought Jacksonville was like, it's a big city. It's open, a little bit younger crowd. Not like Fort Myers and not as crazy as Miami. So that's what brought me here.
Okay. How many years ago was that?
About almost 5 now.
5 years.
It doesn't seem that long, but
goes fast.
Yeah.
All right. So were you already a nurse when you came here?
No, so what I did before nursing was when I was 19, I became a personal trainer. So I've been doing this for over 10 years now.
Okay.
But I became a personal trainer, and I started playing sports since I was 5. I've always been moving, doing something, and I wanted to go to physical therapy school, and I will never forget. It was after I graduated, I started working as a PT tech at an office. I was already a personal trainer and a strength coach, and I was working with this fresh ACL surgery. We're doing, knee extensions, and it's 8 a.m. And the guy started laughing, and he was like, "You're bored, aren't you?" And I was like, "You called me out so hard." And I was like, "This isn't for me. I need something
I get it.
more exciting." So I went to EMT school.
Okay.
And I still was personal training. I still have done personal training, like, here and there, just writing plans for people.
Right.
Working a gym after that, but while I was in school. And then I became EMT, and then I moved to Jacksonville and worked as an EMT at UF Health in the emergency department first for over 2 years, and then went to nursing school while I was working there.
Okay.
And then I became a nurse. So I've been a nurse now for almost a year and a half.
Okay. So was there something specific that made you go into the area that you're in? Because that's pretty intense. Like,
I hate to say this, but I really want, well, I don't know if I should hate to say this, but I really want that's a way for me to find meaning in my work. I enjoy pushing myself to the limit.
Right.
And I almost want to do something that's hard.
Yeah.
I want to do something that
is a challenge.
Yeah.
Understood. So for people who don't know, you're in the trauma ER.
Trauma ICU.
Trauma ICU
currently
at Shands, which is it like one of the busiest hospitals in Florida or the Southeast or?
So to put it into perspective, we're the level 1 trauma center of the region. So all the way up to somewhere in Georgia, down to, I think the next one down is Gainesville. I could be wrong.
Right.
But pretty much everywhere in this region, if someone meets level 1 trauma criteria, aka if there's a risk that they're going to lose their life,
so
they have to come
mostly
to Shands.
Accidents, gunshots,
gunshot wounds, accidents, strokes.
Okay.
Well, that strokes don't meet the level 1 criteria, but as far as trauma, yes, very bad car accidents, gunshot wounds all the time.
So is there a helipad there?
Yeah.
Okay. So the gunshot scenarios, are those mostly from like violent incidents?
Yes.
Not hunting. I'm assuming they're like street violence.
Yeah.
Domestic violence.
Yeah. Street violence. It's every type of gunshot wound. We get a lot of people who shoot themselves accidentally. No gun safety. I can't stress that enough. My dad was a cop, and I can't tell you how many times people accidentally shoot themselves because they're cleaning their gun and they're aiming it at themselves.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen a 14-year-old child shot because their parent or a friend
lock it up.
didn't. Yeah. And then most of the time it's street violence, unfortunately, especially with the area that we're in.
Right.
It happens a lot.
Yeah. I assume that. So in those scenarios, is there like a heightened level of security at Shands? Like,
No.
Really?
Forgive me if...
No, like I'm just thinking like logistically, like, all right, there's a
Not really.
There's a gang shootout.
I don't want...
Some people get shot, they get taken to the hospital, but the other guys still want to take them out.
I feel like I can't comment on it too much.
Understood.
But a lot of us wish that there was better security. Understood. Yeah.
Is it an issue? Like, is there anything vocal about it being?
It's kind of like every now and then something will happen and a family member's aggressive and we do have to protect ourselves. And security is not always on our floor.
Right.
We are a locked unit. So
Okay.
you cannot come in unless, and a lot of the times the patient's names are protected.
Right.
If you are a victim of violence, your name is not going to show up in the computer.
Right.
Like we can't give that information out.
Mm.
So we do have a system where if somebody calls and asks for information where they are,
Right.
we can't just tell them. They need to provide a code.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
However, there have been other instances where I mean, it's a fact, nurses have been attacked by family members
Right.
and beaten. And so it just happens every once in a while, and we have to be on our guard and be careful. And
that's got to be an extra level of stress too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you can always kind of see it coming sometimes. Right. Not all the time. I can't speak for everybody, obviously. But it's also just expected. Yeah, you have definitely a heightened level of awareness. It was definitely worse in the ED. It's a lot easier to get into the first floor.
Yeah.
Into the ED. It's not a locked unit. You can just walk in kind of, especially if a lot of people have been shot. They've had family members who've been shot before, unfortunately.
Right.
So they kind of know their way around.
Yeah.
But you definitely but there's more security presence on the first floor.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely something you need to look out for.
Interesting. All right. Okay. So let's shift gears a little bit. How'd you find your way into the Gym Jax?
Gym Jax. So my friend Jordan, my best friend Jordan, he's awesome. Big guy. He's one of the strongest guys, if not the strongest guy in the gym at all times. Like he's big, huge.
He goes to the Gym Jax?
So I visited the Gym Jax with him a few times. I worked out at Bailey's before. And a few times, I think over a year now, he would bring me, and I was like, it's a different kind of vibe here. Yeah. It's cool. It's not, I feel like everyone at Gym Jax is serious, is committed, and everyone started somewhere. Yep. And everyone knows that too.
There's an accepting vibe there. Like everybody's cool with everybody. That was my point. Remember I told you it'll come back to me. Ashley asked me the question, how did you decide to do this particular podcast? Because I had one going before, which I still do occasionally. Yeah. And I tell the story of how I went from training at home for the last bunch of years to training in the Gym Jax, and then like this thing coming to fruition by basically God planting seeds in front of me, because I had no intention of doing this when I first started coming there. I was just going there to help a friend.
Oh, cool.
And that was done, and then I decided to keep going because I was like, yeah, there's good stuff going on here. This is a cool place. I didn't expect that. But if you want to hear it, you got to listen to Ashley's podcast number 1. It was a great question. I go into more detail.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, she is. Okay, so as we get cruising here, if you're on audio, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, and you want to come see the video versions of these, which you should, all you got to do is take the shortcut link. That's MIDLIFEMUSCLEPodcast.com. That's going to take you directly to the YouTube video podcast channel. You'll want to subscribe, share your comments, let all the guests know you appreciate them doing this. Share it with your friends, your family, your in-laws, coworkers. And then if you want the newsletter version of this, where I throw in some extras, photos, recipes, reflections, what have you, take the shortcut link. That's MIDLIFEMUSCLENEWS.com. MIDLIFEMUSCLENEWS.com. All right. So you find your way into the Gym Jax. You felt the good vibe. You saw some of the things I was talking about actually early on in some of the previous episodes. You decided you're going to make that your training place. How many years ago was that?
A little over a year, I think now.
Okay. So did you know anybody there besides Jason or?
Jordan. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I've seen generally how you train. Like I can appreciate your training style. One of the things I mentioned to you when we first started talking is your consistency. But I had a sense you may be a nurse because because the times I would see you and then the times I wouldn't see you. I'm like, she's probably a shift worker or something.
Yeah, I work night shift.
Right. Okay.
So my training's a little bit all over the place.
Yeah. But even though it's all over the place, you're still consistent.
Yeah.
Like that I got after a few months.
I try.
So give us an overview of your general training schedule, like a basic outline. What does it look like?
Generally, on average week, I'll work my 3 shifts in a row. So that first, I work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. That first shift, I will sleep in late. Like I'll sleep in as late as I can so that I don't have to sleep later, because I'm real bad at taking naps before I work. I'm like, I have to work. I'm not going to sleep. So I sleep like 12 hours.
Okay.
And then I get up, take pre-workout, get to the gym by like 1 o'clock. So that's a different time than I go.
Right.
And then I'll train for like 2 hours, go home, eat, prep for work. So I have a ton of food for work, go to work. I work that night, I work the next night, I work the next night. And then I sleep that next day. And always that first day I'll get up and do something, whether I go to the gym or do some other activity. But I'll usually sleep that day, wake up, and not take pre-workout so I can sleep that night.
Right.
But I'll like drink coffee or maybe like a quarter scoop of pre-workout and then go to the gym, workout. And then that night I will sleep. So if I sleep like 7 or 6 hours that day, it's just enough for me to wake up and do something.
Yeah.
But then I'll go to bed later at like 1. Right. So then I sleep 6 hours-ish and then wake up at 9 the next day. So then I start my days. Right. Again, normally I have 4 days off.
Yeah.
So essentially, if I sleep 7 hours at first that first day and then 6 hours later, I'm really getting like 12, 13 hours of sleep in 24 hours. So that's not too bad. Right. And it works.
Yeah. Okay. And then in terms of the body part split, like with the schedule like that, how do you break up your body parts that you're training?
So like I said, that's an ideal average schedule. It's not always like that. So I really, fortunately, I have the knowledge, I feel like now, to balance it out accordingly. So if I only have 3 days off, unfortunately, I have to balance it around my knees too, because my knees are not good.
Okay.
So if I, like, let's say I only have 2 days off, I'll hit upper body one day. So it's different every time. I'll hit upper body one day, full, like back and chest, whatever I can do, like just go to the end. The next day I'll do legs, and then I'll go to work. If I have 4 days, I'll do, usually ideally I do a chest, like a push upper, a pull upper, and then legs. Okay. But if I know that I'm not going to be working out for 3 days because I have work, then I'll hit everything that I can. Right. And some. Right. So that it's all balanced.
Okay. So despite that kind of schedule, you've still figured out a way to make your training work and fit. What kind of cardio are you doing, if any? I said, if any.
I have always hated cardio. I used to play rugby. Okay. So I would joke and say I only run if someone's chasing me. Right. Which was literally true. And to not get hit by a 200-pound girl, I feel like that's motivation enough. Yeah. But now I'm not. So actually, I hate it. I was playing flag football in a league through Jax like every Monday night, and that was my cardio, like once a week. Right. And I was huffing and puffing. But like I said, my knees held me back. But I actually just joined BJJ gym, MMA gym, 10th Planet. They're super awesome. So that about 3 times a week, I will go to that, and that's my cardio.
That's cardio.
So today I worked out at 8:30. I went home, drank a smoothie, and then I went there. Right.
And then trained at Gym Jax.
You trained at Gym Jax, and then I went to the BJJ gym and did that. And for like an hour, I was, grappling on the ground. Right. So that's what I'm trying to do to get cardio.
Okay, that's cardio. That counts. All right.
I need to be better, but.
All right. That definitely counts, though. Good stuff. Okay, so speaking of nutrition and meal prep and stuff, somebody like you, obviously we both know there's a lot of nurses who pay no mind to meal prep nutrition. They're just getting whatever. Yeah. And that shows, right? But somebody like you, and there is a good percentage of like conscious nurses who put their health first and they put in the effort and they're making the right choices. How do you manage your, let's go backwards. How do you do your food shopping to allow you to do your meal preps first? Like,
I always have the basics. Like I always have fruit. Okay. If I snack on something at work, if I want something sweet, I always have fruit. Right. So I always get fruit. I go between different breakfasts that I like. Usually all of them have eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always have some sort of meat. I honestly look up different recipes and find something that's easy but also, tasty.
Right.
And something that I will have leftovers for.
Right.
It's honestly easier for me to eat while I'm working.
Yeah.
And get in enough calories and get in enough protein.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, I'm this way through the shift. I need to eat my second meal by now.
Timing is better.
I'm this much through the shift. I need to drink my protein shake by now. And then I always have like a protein bar, even though I hate protein bars.
Understood. I make my own.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy
I
about them.
saw on one of the shows that I watched that you have them there.
Cool.
I gotta try it. But yeah, I try to think of different things because the one thing I don't want to happen is me to get bored.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a big challenge with most people who are like maybe not as into it as we are, but they're trying to get into it, or they're trying again, or they're like, 39, turning 40. Oh, I got to do something.
Yeah.
And they're going all extreme. They're eating really bland.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they're seeing a trainer who's got them on the chicken, broccoli, rice thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not going to last. So one of the things I love doing personally, and like being able to share it with others, is cooking with herbs, spices, seasonings, because they're all good for us.
Yep.
And those, our bodies actually need them, want them, right? So you got all these flavors, endless combinations and options, and all the health benefits that come from those things, right? So you're probably familiar with some of those, right?
Yeah.
Getting into that, all right. Again, we could go, there's a whole other episode talking about all these different ones.
You gotta keep it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people need to learn that. Like, oh, okay, like I can use, whatever, turmeric, cardamom, sea salt, pepper, of course, paprika.
Yeah.
It's endless. I think if people can grasp that and just start like experimenting, let alone following recipes, they'll realize, ooh, this actually tastes good. Like I can eat this on a regular basis, right? Still lots of room for people to learn in that realm, but you're already doing it. So what does meal prep look like for your like blocks of several days in a row of shifts? Do you do it all at once and it's all ready, or each day are you doing it for the following shift?
I like to, usually I won't work more than 3 shifts at a time. So I like to have something that I can make in bulk that I will have at least that one meal, those 3 shifts in a row. And then, so that's ready. And then I'll always make sure when I get up before work, I get up enough time beforehand to make something then.
Right.
So I'll eat a big meal before work. I'll eat my meal at work. And then I have always a protein shake to supplement with a lot of other things in it, like kefir and honey and cinnamon and fruits. And I try to get all my nutrients from different good nutrient dense sources.
Whole foods.
Yeah.
Right.
So I like to have a blend. It's different. Like yesterday I cooked salmon. I pan-seared salmon, seasoned my white rice, had cucumbers, and had like a chili infused honey, and it was amazing.
Nice. Very cool. So where do you do your food shopping? Where do you get your salmon, your meats?
Honestly, I usually just go to Publix.
Yeah.
I know they don't have the best choice of everything. But honestly, when I leave Gym Jax, there's the Publix right there off Kernan.
Super convenient.
It's closer to me. It makes more sense than where the Publix is by my house. So I just stop by there, get everything. I make a list the day before, so I'm not there forever. I'm never in Publix for more than 30 minutes because it drives me nuts. And I mean, sometimes if I'm in, I just don't live by other better options.
Right.
So I just, I go, it's on my way, and it works for me.
Okay. So you got like a kind of a flexible, systemized routine.
Yeah. I do a lot of the times go to Costco and stock up on good meat. So I usually get my meat from Costco. I'll freeze it, thaw it at here and there.
Yeah, Costco's awesome.
Yeah, for my meat. And some fruits too, because I love a big thing of blueberries.
Oh yeah, the frozen ones are awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I put them in my shakes all the time.
Yeah. Are you into organics, or is it either way?
Yeah, I try. Yeah, I try to always steer towards organic. Whatever fruit that's in bulk, best price, or organic, I'll get that. I'll mix it up every week.
Yeah.
I usually, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever used Costco online, Costco.com?
No.
Oh, it's made like all the big
Really?
things. I just order from the website,
Oh, wow,
and then
wow,
I'll go
wow.
there for like smaller, perishable stuff, but big stuff
Yeah.
like organic soy milk, organic
I
almond
didn't even think
milk.
of that.
God, when you go on there, it's like, oh yeah, they got that too. Cool. I'll just have it delivered.
Yeah.
Like certain spring waters.
Yeah.
Um,
I love my water.
I get most of my Costco stuff from the website now instead of going there. Like
Okay.
when I go there, it'll be for like the frozen berries, their organic butter, organic coconut oil.
Nice.
Their produce is pretty good if you eat it fast enough,
Yeah,
like
I
because
always
it
use
is
fruit.
pretty
Yeah.
bulk, right? But yeah, it's made life a lot easier, and it's maybe I do a Costco run.
I hate going to Costco.
I know, I get it. That's why I use the .com
I
more often now, because now I just go there maybe once every 2 months, once every 3 months
yeah.
to the actual
Mhm.
store. Because the online option is like it's too easy. Like it's
Yeah.
a no brainer.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, good stuff here. Any without naming name brands? You use any supplements? Take any multivitamins? Anything?
Oh yeah, in general, I take creatine every day. I take collagen. I average about a protein scoop every day of, you said no name brands.
Is it plant-based or whey?
Not plant-based, it's whey.
Whey.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't really do plant-based.
Okay.
Um,
Any specific vitamins, minerals, multivitamin?
no, I don't take a multivitamin. I just try to have a wide variety in my diet.
Yeah, it sounds like you do. Like
Yeah.
you're really structured about that. You're
Yeah,
getting
so
a lot of
I
good
try
nutrition
to,
in.
yeah, I try to really ensure that I get a lot of, nutrient dense
Right. And a variety too, it
variety
sounds
foods
like.
for my diet. Yeah, but yeah, mostly those is what I take.
Okay.
I try to get BCAAs in,
Mm-hmm.
but honestly, like with pre-workout and creatine
Right.
and BCAAs, like my stomach can't really
Yeah.
do all that. So I
Understood.
try to, eat a lot of red meat, a lot
Right.
of good portions of meat, not just get my protein from yogurt and
Right.
shakes and stuff. So
Understood.
I can make up for it in that aspect.
Okay. That's one of the challenges most people have is they're so busy with life, kids, career, what have you, running a household that like doing the things that we're talking about is really hard for them. It's a big challenge, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes that's an obstacle for them. Like I can't do all that
Yeah.
food prep and planning and structuring. Like my life is not like
Yeah.
that, right? Which is okay. There's always like, all right, we'll go to plan B. And
Yeah.
here's how you're going to implement, a looser plan B and
Yeah.
still make progress and get results.
I don't have kids, so I have no excuse.
Right.
I have no excuse. I see all these people in the gym and they have their kids, they drop them off, and I'm like, if they're doing it, I have no excuse.
Exactly.
So
Right. Good observation. All right, good stuff so far here. Have you ever had any kind of big setback of any kind, like that took you off track? Because you've been into this for a while. You ever had like a life event, a family member passing, a massive injury, or something that took you off track where you had to find your way back?
I did have a family member pass. My mother passed away in 21.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, somehow, lifting got me through it.
Right.
So
you stuck with it and you kind of made that your way of coping,
yeah.
Partially.
Yeah. But the one thing, and my mom would have been like, get up, like, get up,
Right.
So that's how she was, which was great, which is why I'm the way that I am. But in 2018, I was playing rugby and I got tackled twice, once by this one girl. And then I was on the ground on my knee, just on my knees. And then I got tackled again. And this fairly large woman smashed the head of my femur and my tibia together. And my kneecap popped out. I heard a big snap, and I was praying that it wasn't my ACL.
Right.
But my kneecap popped out. I had hairline fractures in my femur and my tibia.
Really?
I had severe bone marrow.
From that hit? From that
edema
tackle?
leaking into my, yeah. And I just imagine like a 260, 270 pound woman, like right here.
Wow.
I remember when I was on the ground the first time, I was like, I saw her coming and I was like, please don't tackle me.
Right.
I can't go anywhere. Like I'm pinned on the
That
ground
wasn't necessary.
by my legs from
Yeah.
the other girl, and I gave off the ball. I'm like, please don't, and she did. And I played for that coach for 3 years, and not once did he come onto the field ever. Like when I was hurt, and he came up to me right away. He pulled my mouth guard out of my mouth, and he was like, "What's wrong?" Like he knew.
Yeah.
And it took, so by the time my leg healed, luckily I didn't need surgery for my there's hairline fractures. It was fine. But by the time that healed, my kneecap, because it popped out, was sitting too far laterally that I literally could not extend my leg at all. Excruciating pain. I could not do that. So I went to 3 different orthopedic surgeons, and I was like, I do not want to have surgery. I don't. I will do anything that I can. And I know a lot of PT from my experience. I know how to fix myself. Like, I will never take ibuprofen, ever. Like, I will, if it's physical pain, I will always do something to fix it, and I can fix it. I was rolling out on a barbell.
Really?
Yeah. Trying to release all this lateral tissue.
Yeah.
It was not working. And every single doctor that I went to, they were like, you need a lateral release. Like, we need to go in there and cut up all the tissue. There's too much scar tissue. So I did that. And that whole process, I was still personal training, and I would have like 8, 9 clients a day while going to EMT school. I would train in the morning, train at a workout in the middle, like upper body, do my PT. I would train again at 4, 5, 6, and then I would go to EMT school. And I was hobbling around the gym on crutches.
Crutches. I was going to ask, like, how were you getting around?
My triceps were phenomenal, honestly. It was worth it. No, I'm kidding. But no, that's...
So that was 2018 that injury happened. All right.
Yeah.
And so when did you do the surgery? What year?
At the end of 2018. It happened in February.
Okay. So you went almost a whole year.
And that was the year that I turned 26 and was off my dad's insurance. And it literally happened in the perfect amount of time that by the time I got my insurance, I had to wait that long.
Right.
And I was like, I'm being tested for some reason. But I finally got it at the end of that year. And it's been uphill since then, kind of.
Here in Jax, you had that?
Yeah, actually, right when I moved to Jacksonville.
What orthos did you use?
Kevin Kaplan, JOI.
JOI.
Yeah, he was great.
JOI, nice. Okay, so that was done, and then I'm assuming you did PT for it, right?
Yeah.
Rehab. And how long was it before you started like doing some training, like regular lower body training?
Not long.
A couple months.
They were honestly like surprised by my progress, and they were like, "You're not supposed to be doing this right now." But
you're not a regular person.
No, I'm very stubborn. I don't.
And you had a foundation. Like it's not like you're a regular sedentary person who now gets this injury and you're going to start training yourself.
Yeah.
You knew what you're doing. Nice. All right. So how often does it bother you these days?
So when I was playing flag football, I stopped a few months ago. So only until recently, my knee was bothering me a lot. So like, I would say 6 months ago, I squatted 205 for 3, which is pretty good considering everything that I dealt with my knee.
Right.
And then a week later, I couldn't walk down the stairs.
Because of that knee?
Yeah. And it had nothing to do with me squatting that heavy.
Right.
It just had to do with like my knee.
Yeah.
So I've really, as much as I love being active and playing sports, I told my team, I was like, I love you guys. And they're my friends. And it's fun, you know? And I was like, I just really need to take a break from this for now, focus on my knee, do all my PT. And unfortunately, with everything that I have experienced with my knees, that's also my second surgery on this knee.
Okay.
I tore meniscus before, but...
How'd you tear it the first time?
Playing basketball.
Basketball. All right.
Yeah.
What year was that?
I was 12.
12 when you did that.
Yeah. And it only got worse, and it wasn't until I was 16 that I had surgery.
Okay.
And the doctor pretty much
When you say worse, pain getting worse, functionality getting worse?
Oh, yeah. Like, it got to the point when I was 16, the little knee bend, very little knee bend that you need to shoot, I couldn't even do it.
Okay. And the meniscus repair, big difference, big help?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It took it all out.
Nice. Okay. Good info. Good stuff. All right. So I ask people this question because I want viewers to know, like, we've all had stuff we've had to deal with. Like, you can't look at it and say, oh yeah, well, of course they get to train consistently all the time, like their body works just fine. Well, not really. Like, just like anybody else in life, we have challenges, we have setbacks, we have major challenges at times, right? It's how we respond to them and what we do to get through them in the bigger picture that really dictates, all right, what's going to be the outcome here, right? This is just an event, an episode. What are we going to do with this, right? So I asked that question to let people who are tuning in know you're going to have challenges too. Like, even if you're on the right track, or you're deciding now, okay, I'm going to get on the right track. Yeah. It's not going to be smooth sailing. So if you expect, there's going to be bumps in the road, but I'm going to premeditate how I'm going to respond to those. Yeah. And there's always some kind of solution. That's how you work through things and meet those challenges of life. So these are good pieces of info. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. All right. So the combo question was anything injury specific. So you got that knocked out. Thank you. Before I get to the next two little pieces, one of the things I noticed about you, I'm like, I pick up on these details. Like, you wear some really comfortable looking pants when you train. Oh yeah. All right. You don't have to share them now, but I want to know, all right, where do you get these? Because I'm all about the comfort and the functionality. Yeah. Oh, right? Me too. These are Young LA. Okay. Actually, a guy in the gym, I forget his name, but he's cool. I talk to him every now and then. I walked up to him and I was like, those look pretty comfy. Where are those from? And I got them. But yeah, they're Young LA. They got cool pockets. They're very airy. Right. And then the other ones I wear a lot are Alpha Elite. Okay. I wear the men's ones because that's just my style. Understood. And they're more comfortable. Yeah. More forgiving, more functional. Yeah. I get it. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So one of the biggest questions I get from people out there, whether it's like, if they're commenting on a video or like a TikTok video, or if they're a coaching client, a private coaching client, they'll ask, like, what keeps you committed and how do you stay on track? What keeps you focused and dedicated so that you're always doing this, like, no matter what, right? And my life hasn't always been like that. I've shared some of the ups and downs on previous episodes. I've had my episodes too, where this is bad. Like, this is bad. Things are dark right now, right? What keeps you? How would you describe the intangible or the more ambiguous side of what keeps you motivated, on track, like dedicated and committed? Honestly, it's just a way of life for me now. I've been doing it so much that it would just almost. It would feel weird. Like, if there's if there's a few days where, like, I had a friend the other day, you just never just sit home and do nothing and not go to the gym. And I'm like, that sounds awful. Right. And I also, I grew up, I think my parents weren't the healthiest. Understood. And there were a lot of problems that came with that. Right. And I just always wanted to do the best for myself. And truly, when I work out and push myself to the extreme, the gym is like a form of meditation for me. Absolutely. 100%. Yep. So you even said to me when you came up to me, you're like, you look so serious, all the time. I feel like you're in the zone. And I am. Like, right. I was thinking about it. It's funny because when I first started working out, before like a really big set, like I would PR or something, I would like tell myself to get angry. And I was like, oh, let's get hyped, let's get angry. And now it's the complete opposite. Now I like literally like zone out and close my eyes and I'm like, okay, calm down. Yeah. And it feels so much better. Right. But it's like my me time. Yep. It's like, understood. It's me hanging out with myself, listening to music. Yeah. Pushing myself, doing things I never thought I could do. Right. And it's really rewarding. Right. I totally agreed on several levels. Like, this can go deeper sometimes. But for anybody listening or watching, I think the way we all describe how we stay on track and committed might sound a little different, the words we use or the things we stay focused on. But ultimately, it all comes down to like what we call just a way of life. Yeah. Right. So whether it's like, I want to be around for my kids. I want to be around for my grandkids. Like, I'm having a future vision of, I want my health to be as good as possible. What does that mean now? It means I got to take action now if I want that down the road.
Yeah.
So all these different explanations make it, this is a way of life. This is how I live to get these various outcomes that I want.
Honestly, I look at it too, branching off of what you said. It's like, we have our one life. Why not make the most of it and the best of it
Right.
out of every way that we can? Why, why sit and not take care of yourself and not be healthy? You're going to have all these other issues that are going to come along.
Right.
Why not achieve the most that you can for yourself?
Right. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Right. And I get it. Like, there's a lot of people out there who haven't been into this since childhood like we were. And it's a very confusing realm for them.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much crap out there. Yeah. Or even just like looking at advertisements or hearing all these different social media gurus and fake influencers. Like, the regular person doesn't know what to believe or how to discern what's right, what's not right, what's right for them versus right for somebody else. And I think a lot of people psychologically throw in the towel before they even embark on it, right? Because it's like, I don't even know where to start. Like, the last time I tried, I felt like a moron. I gained weight instead of lost weight. My back hurt or whatever. Right? Let's get some proper answers this time.
Yeah.
And change your approach, right?
Yeah.
The person has to discover that source of info to give them the right guidance. But the key is, don't give up. Keep looking, because your life is worth it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Good stuff here. All right. You ready to get into the nominate and then a question for me, and then we'll share your social if people want to connect with you?
Sure.
All right. So who are you going to nominate for a future guest?
My good friend Shalom.
Shalom. SHALOM.
Yes.
LOM.
She...
Give us a quick scoop.
I can give you her info. She's a nurse. She's actually a nurse practitioner. I met her at my job a few years ago. We've been friends for a few years. Mm-hmm. And she's a bikini competitor.
Okay.
She was at Dexter Jackson. The way that she trains, the way that she applies herself, how motivated she is, motivates me.
Nice.
So she's just one of those friends that you want to have around.
Awesome. And does she train at the Gym Jax?
Yeah, she does.
She does. Okay. Cool. So Shalom, just like it sounds. All right. Yeah, you'll have to connect us we can coordinate a future date. Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. All right. So she's a nurse practitioner, you said, also.
Yes. Nurse practitioner.
Nurse practitioner. Yeah. And so which setting did you guys meet at? The hospital?
In the ED.
The ED.
Yeah. When I was an EMT, she was a registered nurse, and now she's a nurse practitioner.
And where was that? Was that at Shands?
Yeah.
Shands.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So she can relate to a lot of, what I go through.
Yeah. Awesome. And what age range is she in?
She just turned 33. It was her birthday 2 days ago, actually.
In the midlife muscle zone. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well done. All right. Awesome. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And she knows, I
told her.
You ran it by her?
Yeah.
And she's up for it?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Some people who are getting nominated don't know. So I'm like, all right, we're going to have to surprise them.
Yeah.
All right. What is at least one good power question you got for me?
One that I came up with, I guess, what's the best piece of advice you've been given?
I've been given?
Yes. That you can share with everybody.
Ooh, wow. Honestly, the best advice that has come to me has been through scripture. I've had a lot of amazing people in my life because of the realms I've been in and for the private training I used to do. I still do some private remote coaching with clients, but I used to have a couple of studios up in New York, down here. Had so many amazing people, and I don't want to discredit any of them because I've gotten some of the best advice you could ever get from people from all walks, all levels of success, backgrounds. But the honest truth is, in the last maybe 10 years, I spoke about this in the episode with Drew. Mm-hmm. We talked about my faith, my upbringing in Roman Catholicism, my break away from it, my coming back to a direct relationship with Christ, and what that has looked like for the last 10 years, give or take. And as I have made scripture and reading the word a regular part of my daily life, basically what comes out of those into me is literally the best advice ever. And I will say there's so much of it that I can say, oh yeah, so and so told me this via real life conversation. They didn't say, hey, this is scripture. It was their experiential information they wanted to share with me, as suggestive, helpful life advice. But it's like, oh yeah, I'm reading that in scripture. Like, it's been, this was always here. Not to discredit anybody. They're speaking from experience, but everything that's been the most helpful from me is in scripture. And I don't consider myself religious, but I do consider myself having a direct relationship with Christ, which is what I believe most people who are looking for something or being a believer, it's having that direct relationship with Christ that removes all the unnecessary, what I believe unnecessary middlemen, the structure, the rules, the ceremonies. Like,
I've experienced that.
Are you a believer?
So I grew up Catholic. I was confirmed and everything.
Likewise.
And I'm sure, as everyone can imagine, I had a little trouble growing up Catholic, being gay.
Okay.
So it was just very hard for me growing up, being forced. My dad's Puerto Rican and very Catholic.
Really?
Very conservative, yeah.
Okay.
So it pretty much forcing the Catholic faith on me. Growing up knowing I am what I am, I've always been what I've been. It was very hard for me to accept that.
Right. And
to experience all the things that I did in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And to hear the things. And also, and I've just experienced many different people that I feel personally view religion the wrong way. I will never forget, in Tallahassee, I was at dinner once with my friends, and I overheard this conversation behind me. And there was these two men, and the one guy said, "You got to join my church. It's great. It's a Catholic church, blah, blah, blah. It's amazing. I can literally murder someone tonight, repent tomorrow, and I will go to heaven." I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
That is sick.
And then at Florida State, there would always be people on the grounds that come and protest, and they'll hold signs saying, like, if you're gay, you're going to hell. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Jesus never said that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the number one rule is love thy neighbor. And you're created equal.
Yep.
Everyone's created equal in God. So like, I felt it very contradicting. I experienced too many people, I should say.
Right.
But then again, along the way, I've experienced many people who I feel like do it the right way.
Yes.
And you can argue that about any faith.
Right.
And I believe I saw what Drew said. He said, if I remember correctly, it doesn't matter what religion you are as long as you're a good person. And I feel like at the end of the day, every religion is based on that. As long as you're a good person and you actually, mean well, do well.
What your intentions are.
Exactly.
Right.
As long as you, have good faith, no matter where it stems from.
Right.
Then that's what it's all about.
Right. So you do have a relationship with.
I do believe that there's a higher power.
Right.
I'm honestly contemplating, like, what exactly I believe currently.
Understood.
But I do believe in karma.
Yeah.
I do believe that what you put out into this world is what you will get. I do believe that you need to be good. Yeah. You need to be fair. Right. You need to treat other people the way that you want to be treated. I feel like as long as you do that, and as long as you believe that, you're not the only one, you're no better than the next person, right, then I think everything will turn out the way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah. All right.
Whatever that
Those are
means.
some good rules. I like it. So, if you ever want to connect and chat about like this part of your journey, I'll openly share my whole thing to give you a perspective of how I was raised really hardcore Roman Catholic with Italians who were off the boat.
Yeah.
How and why like I broke away from it, and then what specifically brought me back to seeking Christ and creating a whole different paradigm for myself, and the daily practices I employ now that basically are my way of maintaining that relationship, developing myself, and putting even more goodness into the world because of it. Totally, just ask me, just say, hey, can you talk today, or phone or in person, whatever.
Okay.
Do not hesitate, please.
Okay.
All right.
I'm down.
And it's not to like try to say, hey, you come there this direction or that direction. It's just to like expand your realm of what's possible in other human beings, and to maybe give you more material to work with yourself.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. All right. Great question, by the way. Did you expect that answer?
No, but I loved it.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So before we wrap up and share Rachel's social, is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. So again, MIDLIFE Muscle Podcast for all the video episodes, and you're going to want to tune in because we got a lot more good ones coming up. MidlifeMuscleNews.com for the newsletter. It's a complimentary newsletter that I get to just share other things that maybe don't go on video. And for anybody asking, like I said, the first episode I did with Ashley, I had this is mine, my supplement combo here. I had it out because I didn't take it that day, and I took it like literally just before we recorded, and I left the jar here. People were asking, hey, what's that thing by your chair? So I'm like, hey, I'm going to leave this here. I'm not going to talk about it here. Maybe we'll do another episode about it. But if you want to learn about it, just go to getlivingstrength.com. Just like it sounds, getlivingstrength.com, and you can learn all about it. All the info is there. All right. So what social channel do you want to share?
You're going to laugh at me. I don't think I even know my handle. Instagram, I guess.
Instagram. What is it?
I'm not too big on it. Run_Forest99.
Run, RUN_FORREST 99.
Run Forest Run.
Run Forest Run. All right, so that's Run_Forest, 2 R's, 99. What does the 99 stand for?
I have no idea. I just like the number.
All right, cool.
No fun story behind it.
This has been great. Very insightful. I know a lot of people are going to benefit from this in various ways. So I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Big time. Big time. Thank you
for having me.
All right, and that's it. Be sure to tune in. Leave your comments. Post below in the comments section, whether you're watching this on YouTube or seeing it on the Spotify video feed now too. Or if you're reading the newsletter version of this, there's a comment area down below. And until next time, peace and much love to you. We'll see you there.